All right, we checked out the yard. We checked out the big shop. We checked out the kind of shed or hay barn or storage machine shed, I guess, behind the shop. And we are ready to check out the house. Beautiful day in the Ozarks. Okay, so we've got a couple options. I think I mentioned it in a couple of the other videos we took of the yard. That's the door that we've always gone through, just because it seemed like that's kind of where the driveway came in. So, and that's the door that goes into like a laundry room, almost a mud room, and then the kitchen. But there's a good chance that when they did the newer portion of the house, which is this portion over here, there's a good chance that they intended this to be the main entryway, because this comes right into the big living room. Hard to get a good angle on the house because we've got massive trees everywhere. That is a huge, huge hardwood tree. Wow. And we kind of think that maybe this was the intended entryway because when you look here, there's actually a gate right there. So the driveway keeps going, but it looks like maybe they had intended to make this a pull-up spot. So anyway, I think we'll enter the house through this newer portion. And this is the portion I think we mentioned earlier that we're told was built, added on in the either mid or late 1980s. Maybe early 1990s, not sure. But let's go inside and we'll take a look here. This porch itself was oh, wait a minute. How about 1999? We have never seen that before. And that is the name of the family that owned it, the Gotts. Well, that's kind of strong evidence that this portion was built in 1999. Or I guess you could say the step was built in 1999, or the porch. In any case, we know that this portion was newer, and that's obvious when you go inside. And we'll just we'll go in and check this out. It's got a good solid porch. The actual porch, this porch roof, it was here, but it was totally redone. When we were doing the roof on the house, the new shingles on the house. This was just in a rough shape. This porch was bad, so we said, hey, go ahead and just do new stuff. And it looks great. A coat of white paint is really all that needs. And the decking is treated. That should be painted or stained probably to protect it. Okay. So one of our guys was here earlier, and he unlocked the doors, he turned the lights on, and he turned the air on because we were just curious about that, and it is nice and cool in here. If you saw the other video, there's a big rooftop, looks like a commercial style AC unit. It hadn't been on at all. We just hadn't messed with anything. And then the other day, one of the guys turned it on, it worked fine. There's the kitchen over there. Oh, here's so there's the thermostat. Got it on cool, got it set just below 70, and that's actually right where it is. This has a heating function as well. We're not sure about the heating system. It's got some kind of high efficiency furnace right there. And this has got a blower on the back. But we don't, that's likely what they heated it with. The AC unit is ducted to a few different areas. There's the intake for the AC right there. There's a filter in there. And then there's a vent there. There's a vent there. There's a vent in the kitchen. There's a vent probably in each bedroom. And there may be one in this bathroom, or there may not be. But the AC just covers this newer section of the house, and then we'll go into the older section in a minute, which is separated. And we think they did that by design, because then if they didn't want to heat and cool the whole house, they didn't have to. So central air in part of the house, but not the older part. Okay, so anyway, here's the big kind of living area, dining area, if you want to use it for that. They actually had a dining table in the kitchen, and then they had that light pulled up so it wasn't in the way. They would have used wall lamps over here, obviously, or floor lamps, I should say. Oop. Trying to get this phone back to, there we go. So you've got these big windows that overlook that very pretty meadow out there, and you can see the road, you can see anybody pulling in, which is nice. Got a great front porch here, if you want to call this the front. I mean, that's gorgeous. Look at that. Looking out at your walnut trees and your massive oak tree. Not sure what those seats are about. Those were actually here on the porch, but they were kind of cool, so the guys pulled them to the side and left them. Okay, so large living room area. Got some built-in cabinets here, like a linen closet situation. Bathroom we'll see in a minute. Here's one of the bedrooms. So that does have the ductwork coming down with the AC. Got a couple windows. Bathroom with the shower. Looks just fine. I guess that could be about a late 90s style vanity. And the gold, maybe late 90s, is coming back into style. And then second bedroom. This also has ductwork coming down, has a window. These built-ins are large, which is great. Didn't see a closet in the bedrooms. Maybe that's a reason for the built-ins. I guess there's an attic up there. We have not, excuse me, not been up above. We have not been up in that, in this section of the house. Here's the kitchen, obviously. And although the kitchen, needs some updates, it appears to be usable as is. I mean, you've got oak cabinets. They are kind of a Formica countertop, but they're actually an upgrade to that. They're the wood trimmed Formica. Looks like pretty nice cabinets, honestly. Those are. I'm looking to see if they're press board, and they're solid. So those are actually really nice cabinets. Most of the windows are these type. They are double paned, but they're like an aluminum style. Most of them, the ones we've tried, seem functional. See, this is where they had their little dining room table. Whoops, keep sticking it on that wrong setting. That's where they had the dining room table right there, and it fit nicely. Got the sink, got the electric range. Oak uppers as well, which is cool. This is possibly the main power box. There's a phone box over there. Well, we've got dryer, water heater, range, etc., etc. Fridge. The fridge is running. I guess we could open it up and see what's. Oh yeah, it's cool. Quite a bit of cabinet space. I mean, it's not a huge kitchen, but it's well thought out. You can get to everything, and there's a lot of countertop space, a lot of cabinet space. And with the sink right here, you're looking right out into the yard. Excuse me. So you can see anybody who's coming and going. Little built-in deal right there, which is cool. And then this door, this would be that smaller porch that we mentioned that leads into kind of a laundry room or mud room. A couple small windows. And now this, there's a dryer here, no washer, but we discovered a washer in the pump house. So maybe that was the situation. I mean, there's a dryer vent, dryer plug-in. So it's likely something someone would want to upgrade to get the washer and dryer in the same spot. There's apparently room. They just didn't run the line. And then there is a small bathroom over here. Small but functional, nice and bright. Our guys told us it looked like the water to this particular bathroom had been either disconnected or had been broken at some point, because this, you can see the toilet's disconnected. And that's where we might have mentioned earlier, we don't know if they had winterized the farm when they left or what the deal is on that. But that's pretty standard stuff when you're getting into a farmhouse like this, is you're going to be fixing some leaks right up front to get things going. See, and we'll look at the rest of the house in a minute, but it seems like they had designed this to keep the heating and cooling costs very low. Excuse me. Because they have that big rooftop AC unit, but it's ducted to the living room, to the kitchen, to the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom. And then we have another section of house we haven't seen yet, and it took us a while to figure this out. There's this like a sliding door. And this brings us into the older section of the house. And this is going to be where, from the exterior, we saw that part of the walls are log cabin. You've got a super cool wood burning stove right there. And then this would be a bedroom. So let's say if we were to come in this way, we'll just do it that way. And this is the way that we've come and gone, just because, as I mentioned, it seemed convenient. The driveway comes up, you can walk right in here. And there's that really cool, you can see where that portion actually is a log cabin that they had added onto, and that's when they were redoing the roof here on this porch and messing with the siding. They kind of exposed that. You could certainly cover it up. I mean, a few pieces of siding would cover all that up, but it's pretty cool. That is not something you see every day. So if you're coming in this way, then you come in immediately to a bedroom. And then this door is really, it looks like it needs to be cut down. Actually, I think one of the guys was just going to pop the hinge pins out and set the door to the side, because it doesn't really serve a purpose anyway. And then you come into what would have been likely this was the log cabin originally, so late 1800s, early 1900s, because right up here is where we saw that log wall. They've got a big wood burning fireplace here, and that has a blower as well. So when they fire that up, they would just leave this door open, and that would obviously easily heat these 2 rooms. Likely that one they have in the living room would heat all of this, especially if you had a fan somewhere going. But these 2 rooms are not ducted to the ductwork. So these that AC is not piped into these 2 rooms. So they could have easily had, a stand-up fan right there, or it could have been a deal where, and that's why that's there, and they just slid that shut. This still would have been, acceptable either for storage or for a window unit or whatnot, a window AC unit. But meanwhile, all they would have had to have cooled or heated and cooled would have been this newer section. So that's likely why they did that. Super cool wood burner. Oh, and here's that's going to be stairs leading up to that little attic area, and we'll check that out since we're here. That could be usable for storage. Yeah. I guess you could have it potentially as a kid's room. If I was a kid, I would think it's really cool up there. I would not think that nowadays, but let's go up there and take a look. Okay, so this, you just pull this bad boy down. Whoops. And this actually has a really nice attic stairway here. It's metal, folds down, and we'll walk up there and have a look. Got your little miniature railings right there. Okay. That's kind of neat. At some point, someone partially finished it with some paneling. And it's about what you'd expect in this type of space. You can stand up in the middle easily. And then it slopes down toward the edges, and they have kind of the dormers. Our guy that was in here told me he had opened up these windows up here. And then you walk through into this area, which is very similar to the other one. Actually, you've got a really nice view from up here. Looking down at the pond, one of the ponds. So yeah, I know as a kid I would have loved to have had this as a room. As an adult, probably not. Machine shed and pond back there. It does have light fixtures. There's no lights, and I didn't see a switch, so I don't know if there was like maybe a pull cord. But really, I mean, for storage, it'd be, unless this were really spiffed up. But then as we look at this again, I'm just looking at the step between the two parts, and that looks like a hand-hewn timber right there. And it would have been traditional, even in an old school log cabin, to have a little area like this. So this could have been part of that original log structure. Obviously, it wouldn't have had paneling or an attic stairway. And if you're not familiar with attic stairways, here's a little tip. You go up frontwards and you come down the same way. So rather than facing down, I'm gonna go backwards. Oh. And then that way you can immediately grip that little miniature railing again. You go down facing frontwards and it's kind of a wild ride, but if you go down the way you came up, it's not too bad. It's actually a super nice attic stairway. It's got little pneumatic supports. Let's fold that back up. There we go. And then this little guy goes right there. And we are good to go. So there's a good little overview of the farmhouse. This has been used and loved for many generations. And again, it's only our amateur detective work, but we think right here in this room is probably the original structure. Log cabin, like literal log cabin structure, logs behind these walls. If we had to guess, we would say that then this was added on later and tied into it. And then for many, many years, this would have been essentially the entire house is these two rooms. Perhaps this kitchen area, we're not sure about that. And then we had been thinking that it was 80s or early 90s when this part was added on. But then if you watched, I think it was this video, I don't think we put a pause in there. If you look at the front porch step, it says 1999, has the family's name. So that it's very possible that 1999 is when this portion was built. It is nice and cool in this section. So like any house, any property, we can't guarantee that anything works. I can guarantee that the air is working today because it's cool and clear and feels great in here. But we might leave and it stops this afternoon. We don't know, but it is functioning today. We'll take another look kind of at the yard area. Just a gorgeous setting. I mean, wow. Got the smaller pond there. We get the bigger pond in back. Got the monster tree. That's got to be a couple 100 years old. And then, of course, this being the newer part here. So, being a person who grew up in several older farmhouses, this place looks awesome to me. But I do remember every time we moved into another farmhouse, several weeks worth of fixing and revamping and lots of odds and ends that go with an old structure. And then once it was all fixed up, you know, we'd be good to go. But there was always, you know, fixing leaks and figuring stuff out. And that's just part of it with an older structure. So if you like the old farmhouse look, this is about as cool as it gets, we think. You're going to find neat surprises like this stone walkway that we stumbled on earlier. If you're more of a new construction type of guy or gal, then this probably doesn't look good at all to you. Other than the essentially brand new roof up there. But yeah, it sits on 20 acres. You've got the house, you've got the big shop, you've got the machine shed or tractor shed behind. You've got a couple ponds. Small creek toward the south side of the property. We'll check that out at least with the drone. We've never seen so many black walnut trees on one property. I mean, this is amazing. For a place to come and kind of set up shop and maybe have a few horses or a few cows or whatnot, this might be ideal. Gorgeous property. Check out the other videos. Check out the drone video. If you have any questions on this, just let us know. We don't have a ton of history on this, but we'll tell you whatever we know. Really special property. Trying to get a shot without the truck in it, but the way we parked is making it kind of difficult. There we go, that's not too bad. Awesome.